and welcome back. My name is Emily Garvey, and on this channel I love sharing my love for thrifting and homemaking. Lately I've been taking you through each room in our house, kind of decorating and showing you a full makeover. So last week I shared our living room. Today we're in my son's nursery. He's almost a year and a half. I don't know if we can call it nursery, but I'm going to be taking you along, showing you what I've done in this space and things that you could use in any room in your house, specifically a corner gallery wall and a vintage inspired peg rail. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to show you the renovation process, and we're going to go thrifting, and then we're going to do some decorating. So let's get started.
Did I mention that we moved into a 1970s fixer-upper? Well, we sure did, and you can probably tell by the color of this carpet. So that was the first thing to go. Here it is down to the subfloors, and we did not leave one surface untouched in this space. So we, in addition to painting, also scraped the ceiling of the popcorn and installed brand new custom closets. I helped with the design process, but really this was a project for my dad, brother-in-law, and husband. They killed it on this, and they made it so much more functional and practical. As with all of the trim in our house, we painted it accessible beige by Sherwin-Williams. We wanted to add a little bit of contrast. I'll insert a picture of our inspiration for the color throughout our entire house, but we went with alabaster for all of our walls. It is a very warm white by Sherwin-Williams, and so far we are really enjoying it. My parents took on the miserable task of restoring these louvered doors, sanding and painting them. They said that this was possibly worse than the popcorn ceiling. And then we moved in with two toddler boys. Thankfully, we had a lot of help from family and friends setting up all of our furniture and getting things into this space. We added this rug that we got at Lowe's. Again, a thrifted rug pad like I mentioned in my last video. And this is how it turned out in here with the furniture, no decorations yet, and really just using what we had, things that had been thrifted. Oh yes, we did add that fan, but I forgot to mention that. Here's those louver doors all installed. Most of the pieces besides the crib are things that I've had for a while and that I would like to replace at some point, but it's just not quite in the budget yet. I got this dresser for real cheap because it had this mark on it, and I covered up with the changing pad anyway. And I've thrifted this cover from Pottery Barn a while back as well. I hope that through the styling I'm about to show you, I'm able to give you guys some idea of how you can tie together maybe some random pieces of furniture that you have and make it feel more intentional.
Okay, sorry it's so echoey in here. It's like a blank slate, so that's just what it is right now. But Dominic came home early. Normally I do all of my like decorating around the house, DIY stuff during nap time. Obviously can't do a nursery during nap time, so very grateful for Dominic taking over with the boys for a second. So let's hang up as much art as I possibly can. I have an idea in here. So I love gallery walls, but my idea is to put it in a corner. Let me show you why I think this is going to work.
Man, my hair is looking crazy, but wasn't even planning on filming this today, but here we are.
So I have a lot of decor for this room. Look at this giant basket.
If you've watched my videos before, then you know I really like mixing more modern pieces with older pieces. So very like vintagey things that I thrift, as well as family things. This was from my grandmother. It's a print. I think it's a famous print, and I think it's just so sweet for a nursery. This is a painting that my mom did, and then I have some things that like a friend made me this when I first had Gideon, and then obviously like this is new, and a friend made this. So everything in here is very like sentimental. What is this? Oh yes. And then these are a print that I got on Etsy that I just love. I think that these are very modern, but they're very special to our family and our faith. And I definitely want these in here to have these images, and they look great with this carpet, I think. I have a lot of art, and so I have enough to make a gallery wall, but where do you put it? So I'm thinking in this corner here, and then kind of like framing the crib so that it's not too close and he won't like grab it. So I'm gonna lay out all I have and see how far I can go with it. I'll link down below the video where I showed how I made a gallery wall in our living room, and there aren't any rules, but I think it always looks good to have a variety of shapes in your gallery wall, like circles and ovals and squares, and also to have one common denominator between all of the items that you put up there so that it all looks cohesive.
I'm thinking this is going to work because there's a seam in the middle here, and then I'll just be able to kind of like fold it in a 90 degree and put it into the corner. Hopefully this works.
I left this rocking chair in place so that I could make sure that it didn't look awkward around it and was just the right height. I also did want to mention that I have posted before a how-to video of how to make a gallery wall. I'll link it below. It was in our living room. But since then, I've changed my mind on how far apart things should be spaced. I think that they should be about 2 to 3 inches apart. Of course, this is personal preference, but I've also seen this online in different places. And so that's what I went with here, but instead of the 4 inches that I had before, and I think it looks really nice.
Somehow 2 little children just made their way in here. But I wanted to mention these frames here. I'll do a close-up. I found in the trash, my neighbor's trash, and they were gold and black, if you guys can imagine. And my mom spray painted them for me. I think I was pregnant at the time. Transformed. So never underestimate a little bit of spray paint. Okay, I'm really liking this gallery wall busyness over here and then the more simple side over there. But I have this piece of art that I haven't hung. I usually go for gold frames like anywhere in my house. But in here with this blue toned rug and everything, I kind of want to go with more silver. But I do have this piece. Some of y'all might not enjoy it, not appreciate it, but I think it's cool. It says today is the first day of the rest of your life, and it's very floral. It's a little bit girly, but I think it's okay. There's a lot of blue in here as well. So we're gonna hang this, I think, on the other side of the window. Since it's rather large, I think it'll balance this quite nicely. Shelf options. I love having a shelf above the changing table. I've always had it in all of my nurseries, and it just helps you like have a spot to put things that need to be out of their reach. So I have 2 options. This one is from IKEA. It's just super simple. I believe it goes like this. It's hard to hold up there. Or this one, which now that I'm looking at it, I think that's not even a question. This one is very old. Like, it was pretty old and like dated looking. I had like a duck and then I took out the duck part, but because there was glue on it, it's like in really rough shape. And yeah, so I think this is probably gonna go to the thrift store. Maybe someone would want to paint it or something, but I just don't have a use for it.
We used a stud finder to make sure that these could go directly into studs and be super strong. My 2 studs helped me with this project. I always measure the distance between where I think that the studs are to make sure that it's 17 inches, since that's like the standard distance between studs. And sorry this part got so blurry, but Benji was helping me and it was adorable.
I'm sweating. We're going to the thrift store tomorrow with a friend, and so I'm gonna see if I can find some decor for that. I think I probably have some stuff too. So we'll get back to this tomorrow and style her up. Where are we going, Gideon? Yeah. She's got snacks. Gideon's got an I Spy. We're gonna try to do this at the thrift store. Any moms ever done this? We'll see how it works. I'll let you know. All right, let's go.
Now, these first clips that I'm showing you are not from a thrift store. They're actually like an antique store that was more curated and had higher prices. So just keep that in mind. I thought this lamp was really beautiful, as well as this sweet little rocking chair that would be precious in a little kid's room. I was hoping to find a little lamp for this space, as this room only has the overhead light, but these were pretty expensive, especially since they looked new.
Look at this pretty frame. Been a few days. We hosted a housewarming party / Dominic's birthday party last night, and it just filled my heart. It was a lot of people, maybe like 25 people here. That feels like a lot after living in a townhome where we like couldn't host. Like, it was so difficult. Now it's like we can just open our home and it is so beautiful. Anyway, I went to the thrift store a few days ago and I need to show you guys what I got and then the plan that I have to do a little DIY project in here to make it feel a little more custom. This is super budget friendly, super simple and easy, and I will explain exactly how I do it. So this is what I got at the thrift store. These are pegs, and they're just like wooden. I think you can get these at the craft store for fairly cheap. I found them for $1 at the thrift store, and I plan to put them onto a board on the wall to make a little like pegboard to hang things like swaddles or what else would I hang on it? A hanger on there with like a cute outfit. I know Benji's like barely a baby anymore, but we hope to have more. So hopefully I'll get to use this for more like baby stuff as well. But I've seen these in a lot of like cottage style decor, and I think it's really, really cute, and it's practical because it's like organization on the wall. So I need to decide between these two boards. Now, this one that I have would be probably better. It's more ideal. It's more like what people usually use, but it leaves about an inch on either side. Whereas this one, it could go the whole way. It's also kind of cute that it's like thin like that, I think. So I think we're gonna probably go with this one. And if I really, really don't like it, I could change it. But honestly, I think it's gonna look good. So let's try.
I used Dominic's miter saw to cut this, and it makes it easy and fast, but you could totally just use a hand saw and a miter box. I will leave a picture of it on the screen. And then the rest of the tools will be super simple.
Okay, fingers crossed this fits. Let's see. Wow. Perfection. I don't know how I got it that close. So let's talk color. I'm thinking I want it to be the exact same color as the wall. This is actually already painted the trim color, so we could kind of see how that looks. And I just think it's too much, like too dark, because I have the accessible beige here. And I think I just wanted to blend in, more like an accent wall, but subtle. So let's go ahead and see how many pegs we should put in there. This is when I wish I had more hands.
My math worked out so that they would be about 5 inches apart, and then I had about 2 or 3 inches on each side. I forgot exactly, but it worked out. I made little marks, and then we went outside, and I started by using just a normal drill bit. I thought that this was going to be wide enough, I didn't want to go like too big and then they wouldn't stick in there and be super secure, but I ended up using this bit that I found in Dominic's box. So I don't know what it's called, but it worked great. It made the exact same, the size that I needed. It was a 1/2 inch, I believe it was marked on there. You could use a drill press for this if you want to be real fancy, but this worked just fine. And then I secured them in there using a little bit of wood glue to get them in there. It was a little bit tight. I had to end up using a mallet, like a rubber mallet, to get them in all the way, but it worked out just fine and it feels very secure and strong. Next, I wiped off the glue and I pulled out my Kilt primer, which is what we've been using throughout our whole house pretty much, just to make sure that this was going to accept the paint very well and wouldn't like rub off with things that are hanging on it. In the process of me trying to paint this outside so that I wouldn't paint it in Benji's room with the fumes or anything, it got rained on not once, but 2 times. So yeah, I'm just not the best at planning that. But anyway, I got this leveled up and drilled it directly into the studs using some multi-purpose screws, and then used a little Q-tip to paint the screw tops so that they would match the alabaster that is on the walls and on that rack. So now for some last minute styling, and then I will do a big final reveal. As I mentioned previously in this video, we have recently had the opportunity to host family as well as friends, old and new, in our home. And while in my videos it might look like our house is very put together, there are still holes in our drywall and moving boxes unpacked. I know that we will get to those in their time, but I just want to say this to preface the words that I want to paraphrase from a book that I am currently loving called Habits of the Household. I'll share the words from the book in just a minute, but let's real quick take a look at where this place started before, when we first moved in. And then here is how it looks now. Justin Early writes, "We care for the household because it is through the household that God's blessings to us are extended to others. Yet sometimes our desire to make things perfect prevent anything from happening at all. When true hospitality at its best is to honor a guest by offering an experience of comfort and beauty, but at its worst, it becomes an opportunity for us to honor ourselves by showing off what we can pull off. I have started to take this channel a little bit more seriously, and I may lose followers for saying words such as this, but in the same vein as in-person, real-life hospitality on this channel, I do not want to show off what I can pull off, but rather I want you to feel seen in this space, encouraged and inspired to create an experience of beauty and comfort for your family and guests." Justin Early also mentions in his book how interviews and interrogations happen over clean tables, yet conversations and conversions happen over messy ones. I hope this makeover video and these words were inspiring to you. If it was, please let me know and like this video as it really helps my channel out, and I hope that you have a very blessed week. I will see you in the next one.